The Nintendo Wii and modding go together almost synonymously. It's such an easy console to hack that there's an any percent speed run of hacking your Wii, and the record is less than 4 minutes. And out of all of the games on the Wii that have been modded in some way, there's one that stands above the rest as having been modded dozens and dozens of times. Of course, Mario Kart Wii is the one I'm talking about, and it's got a long history of mods, and specifically today we're going to talk about custom tracks. To give you a little scope, Mario Kart Wii released in 2008 and custom tracks hit the scene in 2009, so you can see it didn't take long for people to get right into this, and since it's just as old as the game, which is, you know, already old, it's got quite a lot of history and lore. So today we're going to scratch the surface of some custom track lore. We're not going in any particular order of importance, but there definitely is some more that I'm not going to include in this video, so let me know if you want to see another part for this. Anyways, let's go ahead and start at the very beginning. So the first ever custom track made was Super Nintendo Rainbow Road, and it was made in Microsoft Paint, and it looks like it was made in Microsoft Paint, and that's boring. So we're gonna go to the first original design custom track, which is something you definitely have heard of if you've played Mario Kart Wii CTGP before. That's right, it's Mushroom Peaks. So Mushroom Peaks was made in 2009 by Mr. Bean and Chatters. It's a part of a couple different tracks made by those guys, like Incendia Castle and Six King Labyrinth. All of them are known for being insanely long and also just kind of weird. I love them. Mushroom Peaks especially I have a weird soft spot for. I think it's a really funny track, but there's no denying their outlandishness. Let's move on in history. So the source that I'm using to find information for this video is the custom Mario Kart wiki. I scrolled all the way to the bottom to see what was the first track that had news covered about it, and it was Cannon City. Apparently it got updated to RC2, but anyway, we should look at Cannon City really quick. If you've ever thought Moonview Highway cars were crazy, I would highly recommend playing Cannon City, because really, when you think of custom tracky tracks, this easily comes to mind. Giant cannons that lead to random corners on the minimap, yeah. This is what we made custom tracks for. Cannon City even has a sequel. It's called Cannon City 2. And if you're worried that the second one was gonna make it slightly less crazy, don't fret. That minimap's not going anywhere. And for the last early custom track we're gonna talk about, Lava Flow Volcano was a track that was highlighted by TWD98 in a Rate That Custom Track episode. Because of this, it actually got a good bit of popularity, and what's not to like? I would say it's a mix between Grumble Volcano and Ghost Valley 2, but that's just disrespectful to those two tracks. This track is so beautifully bad. I love it. So those were some early custom tracks, but now we're going to talk about an early custom track creator. In particular, a creator that made maybe the most custom tracky custom tracks. You see, early day custom tracks were generally really big, really janky, and they took forever to complete. Not to mention had some weird themes, ideas, creativity to say the least. And I don't know if there's a better creator that exemplifies that in their work than Big Otto. Big Otto is responsible for making some legendary custom tracks like Halogen Highway, Sunset Ridge, Fishdom Island, and maybe his most iconic work, Volcanic Skyway. That's exactly what it sounds like. You're on the ground and then you go through a volcano and now you're in the sky. So let's see if it's custom tracky. Every lap takes like 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, check. Goes way up in the sky out of nowhere, check. It's got cannons that you don't see coming, check. And a random turn where if you go straight, you actually go off the track. Perfect. Not to mention, Big Otto was responsible for Pipe Underworld. If DK's Jungle Parkway is the worst track in Mario Kart Wii, Pipe Underworld may be the DK's Jungle Parkway of custom Mario Kart Wii. It's like between this or Red Loop, and listen, I have a soft spot for Red Loop. That track was peak. But I have zero soft spots for Pipe Underworld. Man, this track is so bad. And just as you would expect, random cannons, long, if you go straight you die. This is custom track heaven right here. So now we're gonna dive a little deeper into one particular custom track. This track was popular a while ago when it was in CTGP. It got removed about 2 years ago, and that's Heart of China. So Heart of China is a unique track because it wasn't even designed to be a racetrack in the first place. Originally, the area was based off of a story that the creator wrote, until it was turned into a racetrack. Back in the day, it was still custom tracky, don't worry. Hard to see, weird turns, but it got updated in 2020 and it actually was pretty good. But the big ticket thing about this track is that it's got tons of Easter eggs. It wasn't designed to be a racetrack, it was designed to be explorative. And if you boot up Heart of China and start looking around, you'll definitely see why. There's a restaurant, a swimming pool, a gym, a nightclub, and also a 30-minute long Easter egg hunt, which includes an invisible maze, and maybe the only elevator I've seen seen in Mario Kart Wii. And by the way, if you ever want to play 5-on-5 basketball on this one court, I'm sorry, but you're out of luck. Like, seriously, who designed this? Basketball on one side, soccer on the other. You can't play a full game of either of those sports on this setup. It's fine, it's whatever. It's not like I wanted to play 5-on-5 basketball in Heart of China anyway. And don't go anywhere. I'm not done talking about secrets on custom tracks. We're gonna get a brief intermission and then boom, get right back to it. What is the worst custom track? That was a question in a Reddit forum 5 years ago, and the most upvoted response was Mushroom Gorge. I hate to see my king get defiled like that, but it's true. This bum said Red Loop. Get out of here. Red Loop is so good. Can we please bring back the loop tracks? I yearn for Blue Loop. Somebody said Heart of China. I guess the custom trackiness got to him. Someone else said ASDF course, which is so true. This track is awful and somehow stayed in CTGP for like forever. Like seriously, this is lava flow volcano levels of trash. How did it last in CTGP this long? For reference, CTGP has a max of 216 tracks in the pack at once, which means when they add new tracks, they have to cut old ones. And somehow, year after year, ASDF course avoided getting cut. Thankfully, it's not in CTGP anymore, but it had quite the Cinderella run. Intermission over, let's get back to secrets. On Underground Sky, if you go to the left and all the way to the end of the off-road, there's a gap in the fence which will take you to a copy of... what is that? A random track way in the distance, which at first I thought would be a Super Nintendo or GBA Bowser's Castle, but it's actually a completely original design. These long cannons that take you way, way, way off the minimap are not going anywhere. Let's look at the next one. Lost Fortress has a secret which I never would have found if I didn't find this video from MK Weeban. You shoot down into this weird underwater area, and then you have to, climb a wall. Don't worry, you'll land on the other side. You just won't land on anything. And then you have to shoot off to this rock in the distance and make sure you go straight so you don't fall off. From there, you just drive to what looks like land, and don't worry, it's solid. You won't die. And you can actually climb all the way up to the tower in the middle of the track. That's not the only secret though. You can actually take a different route that brings you outside of the skybox, and it'll give you special items. Moving to a slightly more goofy one, there's a secret little area where you can climb these really difficult to climb steps on Twin Peaks. If you manage to finally get up there, these doors are not solid, and yeah, it's a cow room, a rainbow bouncy room with cows. Sounds cool to me. You can actually use this room to get out of bounds too. I remember one time I discovered you can do this and I thought it was a genius until I realized everybody knew that this is possible already. And finally, we're gonna go to maybe the craziest custom track secret out of them all. Like with a lot of secrets, you dive off the track on this one part to bring you to an area you wouldn't have expected to be there. But from then, it's kind of torturous to get to the end of this thing. The video I'm showing right now makes it look easy, but I tell y'all, if you don't do exactly what this guy in the video does, you'll get counted out of bounds and be brought back to the start. I'll just let the video roll from here. It's just crazy stuff, and don't worry, if you cross this finish line, the lap will not count. Anyway, that's all the custom track lore I got today. If you think there's some big custom track lore that you want me to cover in a future video, go ahead and let me know. Stay safe, stay cute, stay loyal, 'cause I already know you are, and goodbye.